What's up guys, the StrongBoys19 here, and I thought I'd do something different for my channel today. This segment has been going on from a few YouTubers out there who have done this type of topic for their channel, so I thought I'd do one for my channel. And as you can see by the video title, this is going to be a video of albums that I consider to be 10 out of 10, and I'm wearing this thing as well. Really cool, isn't it? Just a skull with this cool hat. Yeah. So I have more than 20 albums, and I have the list right here. So yeah, there will be a part 2 for this segment in the near future. So I'm just going to do the first half for this whole video, and there's going to be another video of this same segment for the second part of this list. So yeah, so let's just get on with it. The first one is from Blackstone Cherry, and it is Folklore and Superstition. You know, Blackstone Cherry is one of my favourite bands of all time, and I just loved their second album to death. I mean, I really enjoyed their self-titled album and Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea, but Folklore and Superstition to me is, in my opinion, their best album. I know that Blackstone Cherry's music and creativity are just awesome, fun, and energetic, but I just love this second album from the band, and there has been a lot of elements on this album that I just really enjoyed. You know, the catchy parts and some amazing choruses, and you name it. So I just love Folklore and Superstition a whole lot more than their other albums, and that's just my opinion. So yep, Blackstone Cherry is a fantastic band, and check them out if you haven't yet. The next one is from Bullet for My Valentine, and it is The Poison. I really enjoyed their other two albums, Scream, Aim, Fire, and Fever, and I cannot wait for their latest album, which is going to come out in the future. But The Poison is the album that really stuck up to me, and this album basically got me into the band because of some tracks on this album, like Forwards to Choke Upon and Suffocating Under Words of Sorrow, and all these things I hate, and also the song Hand of Blood from the Hand of Blood EP from those days, that year 2005. So I don't care about all the haters out there, but I just love Bullet for My Valentine, and they're one of my favourite bands ever. Just a really cool band. So The Poison to me is their best album, and that's just me. So yeah. The next albums are from Cannibal Corpse, and they are Tomb of the Mutilated, The Wretched Spawn, and Torture. I never used to like Cannibal Corpse, a few years back, but I got into them a whole lot more now, and I really enjoyed a lot of their albums, Eaten Back to Life and Bloodthirst and Gallery of Suicide and, Gore Obsessed. But these three albums to me are, in my opinion, their best albums, and I think Tomb of the Mutilated is, in my opinion, their best album with the Chris Barnes days before he left the band in the mid-90s, since The Bleeding was Chris Barnes' last album with Cannibal Corpse. I also really liked The Wretched Spawn as well. The Wretched Spawn is an album that's just, really heavy and aggressive and just really low and deep. And it's just like that in the rest of the band's discography. And Torture is one of my top favourite releases of 2012, and I just love the album to death. So Cannibal Corpse is, in my opinion, the best death metal band of all time. I also really liked the Old Morbid Angel and Suffocation and, others. So yeah, Cannibal Corpse's albums are just really cool. The next albums are from Slayer, and they are Rain in Blood and South of Heaven. These two albums basically, in my opinion, got me into thrash metal a lot more. And I also liked their other albums, Seasons in the Abyss and Divine Intervention, and the other later albums. But Rain in Blood and South of Heaven, in my opinion, are just classics to me than the future Slayer albums. And Slayer has been one of those bands that I really, really idolize and enjoy a lot. And they're just an amazing thrash metal band. So Slayer is just an awesome band, and I just loved Rain in Blood and South of Heaven. Those albums to me are just classics, and in my opinion, those albums are just their best. So feel free to disagree, but like I said, that's just me. The next one is from Korn, and the albums are the self-titled, Life is Peachy, Issues, and Korn 3, Remember Who You Are. I just loved the earlier Korn discography a lot, from the first album all the way to, possibly Take a Look in the Mirror. I also really enjoyed their other albums, See on the Other Side, and a lot of people don't like Untitled, but I like that one. And by the way, I like Untouchables a whole lot more now, so I used to hate it because I never got into it, but I got into it a whole lot more now, so that's a good thing. Because Untouchables is one of their best works, as I've read it from the reception on the Wikipedia page. Okay, the self-titled album and Life is Peachy are, in my opinion, their best, and also Issues, of course. Yeah, the self-titled album has just been really aggressive, and it became really emotional, and the whole album is just basically filled with a lot of things that happened, back in Jonathan Davis's past. For examples like the songs "Clown" and "Faggot" and "Daddy." It's just a emotional album for Jonathan, and it's just a very deep one for him. And also Life is Peachy. Although Life is Peachy got mixed reviews, but I just love the album, and it is just basically like the first album in every way, but Life is Peachy is just really, non-stop raw. It's just really heavy. Issues is possibly the first album from Korn that has been, modifying their music, or is it Follow the Leader? I can't remember. I don't really know exactly, but I just really liked Issues and Korn 3. Korn 3 really brings me back into the early Korn days, and I just really liked Korn 3 a lot more than Untitled, and so yeah, those 4 albums from Korn are, in my opinion, their best work from their career and their discography. The next albums are from Fear Factory, and they are Demanufacture, Obsolete, and Digimortal. Fear Factory has been one of those bands that I really enjoyed, and I got into Fear Factory from some of the songs from the past, and Demanufacture is just a fantastic album, and that album is basically their first album to be filled with a lot of metal, but also with some industrial pieces. And Obsolete is just like Demanufacture. It's just amazing, and Digimortal is basically, my main favourite Fear Factory album. Well, like I said that in the past, So, in my opinion, these 3 albums really stuck up to me from Fear Factory. I really enjoyed their other albums, Transgression, Mechanize, and The Industrialist. But in my opinion, Demanufacture, Obsolete, and Digimortal are those types of albums that really stuck up to me the most. So, yeah. The next one is from Cold Chamber, and it's their self-titled album. I really liked Cold Chamber because of, the whole experience of the whole new metal scene, and the self-titled album really enjoyed the hell out of me, and I just really loved it. I also enjoyed chamber music and their other album, Dark Days, and to me, the self-titled album just got me into the band already, and it's just really memorable, involving the song Loco from that album, which is just the first track, well, obviously. And Cold Chamber is just a really cool metal band for any metalhead to check out. So, yep, the self-titled album from Cold Chamber is just amazing. The next one is from the band Trivium, and it is easily the best album from the band, in my opinion. It's Ascendancy. Ascendancy really got me into Trivium back in like 2006 or 2007, and I just loved this album a lot. And this is the album that really got me into the band because of some songs from the album, you know, like Rain and Pull Harder on the Strings of Your Martyr and Dying in Your Arms and A Gunshot to the Head of Trepidation and other songs, you know. So a lot of people consider that Ascendancy is their best, and I just have to agree with that. I also liked The Crusade. That's a bit of more of like a softer type of heavy metal album. Shogun and In Waves are also really cool, and Ember to Inferno is just great. But Ascendancy is the album from Trivium that I just love the most. The next albums are from Lamb of God, and they are Sacrament and Resolution. I just love Lamb of God's discography, and people might just say that you know, their earlier work is a lot better than, you know, Resolution, but you know, like I said in my Resolution album review, that Resolution is my favourite Lamb of God album, and it still is. Although that Resolution has, you know, a bit of a, you know, more of a progressive, pieces of progressive type of music pieces throughout the whole experience of all of the whole groove metal environment from the album, and it's still a fantastic album to me. Sacrament is also really cool. Some Lamb of God fans might say that Ashes of the Wake is their best, or Wrath, but I really enjoyed their albums, but in my opinion, Sacrament and Resolution are their best, and that's just me. So Sacrament is also just a fantastic album. It's just like Resolution. So, yep, Lamb of God, awesome metal band, and I just love them a lot. The next two albums are from Napalm Death, the fathers of grindcore, obviously, and their albums are Scum and From Enslavement to Obliteration. I just love Napalm Death a lot, and you know, grindcore has been one of my favourite genres of all time, you know, because it's just really crazy, non-stop, awesome, metal-ass, hyped-up genre, and Scum has always been, you know, a really big, massive hit throughout the, you know, late 80s, and From Enslavement to Obliteration is, in my opinion, my favourite grindcore album of all time, and I just loved it a whole lot, and it's just like Scum in every way. I also liked the other albums, you know, with the whole experience of the band with Barney Greenway. Those albums are really cool, especially Utilitarian, but these two albums from Napalm Death really just got me into grindcore a whole lot more, and I got into a lot of other grindcore bands as well because of these two albums. So Scum and From Enslavement to Obliteration are just classics. The next one is a side project band with Alex Newport and Max Cavalera, and it is Nailbomb, with their first album and their only album from their career, Point Blank. You know, the band just goes on from their music to be, you know, non-stop awesome aggressiveness of their whole creativity of different styles and genres throughout this album. There has been some bits and pieces of you know, thrash metal, and some bits and pieces of, you know, just really heavy kind of groovy type of metal, and it's also just industrial at a few parts. Well, the whole industrial parts are not in the whole album, basically, because you know, Napalm isn't just a metal band with a lot of industrial in. They just want to like create some songs that are just, you know, basically just awesome with some different parts than just the same metal put together. Point Blank is just an amazing album, and you should definitely check it out. So I know that this is their only album, and Napalm is just an amazing side project band. And the last band for this first part of this segment is Pantera, with their albums Vulgar Display of Power and The Great Southern Trendkill. Vulgar Display of Power is, in my opinion, my favourite metal album of all time. And it's just like the other albums I really loved. It's just classics, you know, Rain in Blood from Slayer and Master of Puppets by Metallica and all sorts, you know. And The Great Southern Trendkill is another amazing album. So Vulgar Display of Power is just a masterpiece, a true masterpiece of, you know, any metal album to me. And it's just non-stop awesome aggressiveness throughout the whole album. And their future albums, you know, from Cowboys from Hell to their last album are just, you know, really, really brutal and crushing and angry, and, you know. And I also really enjoyed Far Beyond Driven and Cowboys from Hell. But I just love these two albums, for my opinion. So that's basically it. That's my first part for my segment of albums I consider to be 10 out of 10. And thanks for watching, and I'll keep you posted for the second part of this segment, and I'll be talking about the second part in the near future for my list. Keep it metal, guys, and thanks for watching.